Alright YouTube, this is what we're rolling out today. This is Photo Universe, and we've got our Photo Universe lens review. And we are reviewing the Canon 50mm 1.4, which we have right there. Now, we've got our Photo Universe lens review talking points. When you buy the lens, you get a box, and you get a front lens cap and a rear lens cap. And it is not a weather sealed lens. There's no rubber gasketing or anything. So, place of origin, date of manufacture. Place of origin is lens was made in Japan. And that's one of the cool things about Canon, is their lenses tend to be made in Japan. Nikon used to make all their lenses in Japan, most of them. But what's really weird is I consider the 50-1.4 kind of the flagship of the line, and Nikon's 50mm 1.4 is made in China. And I think that's a mistake on their part, because I think it's an important lens, and I think it says something. They don't get it. The 50-1.4 should be made in Japan if it's a Japanese company. That's just my opinion. So, date of manufacture, it's not an L lens, so there's no date code on the back, just a serial number. L lenses have a date code. We'll go into that in greater detail on an L lens review sometime. I purchased along with this, I bought this lens for about $450 from B&H about 6 months ago. Price might have gone up since then, as of June 2011. I purchased it with a B+W Pro F Pro filter, UV filter. Filter was 50 bucks. So that goes on there. Screw that on. There we go. I pretty much leave that on all the time. Take it off if I need to, but I need to clean it. Comes with a lens cap, and I also purchased the ES71-2 Mark II Canon lens hood for my 50-1.4. Pros use lens hoods. Why? Because it increases your color and contrast by blocking stray light. So always use a lens hood if you can. And so there's the total package that I use it. I use it with lens hood like that. Okay. So there it is there. Yeah. So, purpose of use. This lens is a 50mm normal lens, and it's great for normal views of things. In other words, like, it's not a wide angle, it's not a telephoto, it's somewhere right in the middle. So if you take a picture of a scenic vista, it'll perform kind of like a wide angle a little bit. And if you take a portrait and you get up on somebody, it'll make a nice portrait lens. So it's kind of a one focal length does all. Some of the most known photographs in history were taken at viewpoints with normal lenses. Because the viewpoint, you know, when you get to a scenic viewpoint, the view you see is a normal view. If you take the photograph with a normal lens, you'll get a normal view, and that's what people want to see. Kind of makes sense. Construction, it's decent. It's a quality. I mean, compared to the 50-1.8, it's excellent. Compared to the 50-1.2L, it's marginal. You know, it's kind of right in the middle. It's a decent quality lens. It's not a Drive Nails Pro lens, but it's not junk either. It's a good quality lens. It's got a, it doesn't have it's ultrasonic focusing, but it doesn't have Canon's ring type focusing motor. It has a micro motor. And on one of the lens rental sites, they kind of track breakdowns, and this lens is kind of prone for the AF drive mechanism to break down. You know, having said that, that's a lens rental thing. Those lenses see a lot more use than most pros give them. You know, that most pros give their own personal equipment. Because if somebody rents a 50-1.4, they're going to use it all weekend. You know, whereas if you own a 50-1.4, you're probably going to use other lenses too. Does that make sense? So, so that's construction. Image quality, color contrast, sharpness. It's one of the sharpest lenses and has the best color and the best contrast for the amount of money you're going to spend on it. And that's why it's such a hit. You know, for $500 you get a very fast f1.4, very high quality image. So at f5.6, f8, this is one of the sharpest lenses Canon makes. Why? Because it's a 50mm lens. They're relatively easy to make, kind of hard to screw up. It should be one of the sharpest lenses Canon has. It is. Okay. Price value, well, considering how sharp it is, and considering it goes to 1.4, and considering it's $500, that's not bad. I mean, you know, you can go to 1.8 for $100, but it's kind of chintzy. It's kind of cheap. Sometimes things can be made too cheap, and that's where the 1.8 is, kind of. It's a great lens, don't get me wrong. Very sharp, but it's not, I mean, this is a quality lens. The 1.8's quality, but it's a cheap lens. The 1.2, if you're buying the 1.2, you know about it. You know why you're buying it. You have a specific purpose in mind. The 1.2 weighs about 2 pounds, and the 1.2 is about, what, $1,500, $1,800, $2,000, something like that? I forget off the top of my head. So, and also we covered that's what it compares to. So, recommendation, highly recommended. Great lens, great. If you're only going to have one prime, that's the prime to have on a full frame. On a crop camera like 60D, 7D, you would want a 35mm lens, 35 f2. You know, that's a comparable lens on a crop camera. 35mm on a crop camera equals 50mm on a full frame. On a crop camera, this lens is more like an 85 short telephoto on a full frame. On a full frame, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is not a normal lens on a crop camera. So there is that. Highly recommended on a full frame. Recommended on a crop camera if you want a short telephoto, or if you're going to get a full frame. Very useful lens. It's the only Canon prime I own, and because the 1.4 does things that other lenses just can't. And for the price, you know, it's good to have one of those in your arsenal. So there it is. Photo Universe lens review. Canon EF 50 1.4, highly recommended. All right. Bye.